yes, I am your child, but I am not a child. So there's gonna be some respect here. There's gonna be mutual. So I'm never gonna disrespect my mom, but also you're not gonna treat me like I'm 15 again.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman. So that's what we talk about. Welcome to another episode of the Sisterhood Debrief, where we discuss all things
sisterly,
godly,
and ratchet.
Okay.
You already know what it is. What's up? I'm done, y'all. Just, y'all come here every week.
Y'all already
just know I'm going to be a little special. Okay?
Not special.
It's my favorite time of the week.
It is.
I get to spend time with you.
Yeah, that is nice.
But also, I like recording. It's fun. It's a little decompressor from the week, all the drama that may have happened at work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I was talking, I got a new therapist, and that was actually all the questions, when you're doing all
the
how depressed are you, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. And she was like, how's your social life? I was like, I hang out with my best friend every week.
Because why not?
Yeah, she's like, okay, well, that's important, because if you're depressed, you should be around people to help you. Yeah. She was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I see my best friend every week. She's like, okay.
Maybe we can see each other other than for recording, though, since we,
it just we be busy.
Life stuff.
Because it's not that we don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like, we're busy.
We are. I think we do a really good job of communicating throughout the week, checking in. But then also there have been, last weekend or previous weekends where we I come over here and we just watch TV and fall asleep on the couch.
Right. Let me tell you.
Adulting. Okay. This is what friendship looks like at 30 plus.
Right. Y'all can't take a nap together. Are y'all really friends?
Wake up, leave,
come back. That was fun.
See you next week.
Wake up, you like, where everybody?
Yeah, so this is my favorite part of the week. So
that's
what we talking about? What we doing? Where we start?
Would you rather? Would you rather?
Okay. So, question for the public. Would you rather? This is a good one, and it's gonna be very difficult for me to answer. Okay. Would you rather never watch movies or television ever again, or never listen to music ever again?
I literally cannot imagine life without music.
You answered that so quickly. This should have been a hard ass.
It was because I'm thinking about all the shows. I can't it'll be hard to never watch some of my favorite movies again, like Wedding Planner or The Wood or Grease, never again, or TV, never watched Married at First Sight, All American, anything on Netflix, documentaries. I don't know. Does that include YouTube?
But I just realized, never listen to music again. Movies have music. Who made this question? Who are you?
I guess you can catch your song when you watch the movie. I don't know. But it's music. I listen to music every day. Every day. It's how I start my day. If I don't have my gospel playing when I go to work, I have to listen to it. I have to listen to gospel every morning.
I agree.
I actually listen to Met the Stallion when I'm having a low moment at work. I'm like, let me get hyped real quick. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go back to the office. I'll be blasting it in my office at home. I'm just blasting in my ears in my car.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have to go with never watch. This is hard. I'm gonna have to go with never watch TV or movies again because I can't live without music.
Okay, so here's what no. Here's where we differ. Brittany fully intends on being at the house working for self for the rest of my life. As soon as that was so Stalinish. What was the man's name?
Yeah, it was
what's the man who was Stalin? Oh Lord, why are we talking about these crazy people?
I know you're talking about German Nazis.
The racist people. Anyway, shouldn't have done that. Sorry, people, don't get offended. I'm
thinking to infinity and beyond. It gave very much infinity and beyond.
Such a mom. I'm not there yet. Give me a few more weeks. Okay, seriously. When I'm at home, I watch TV. I love music while I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
Or driving other places, but I don't plan to drive to work much longer.
Okay.
And I plan to be at home a lot longer than I'm in my car.
Okay.
And I have to, Marvel Universe got new movies coming out.
Do,
like,
Eternal.
I can't, listen, I cannot miss the movies. Married at First Sight.
About it.
Even though I just kind of got put on and they starting to decline in ratings because they just Married at First Sight.
Oh yeah,
because they just throwing stuff on screen now.
They really are.
I'm attached. I'm invested. I have to be able to watch.
Plus, she got other shows she ain't watched yet, y'all.
It's a lot of shows I haven't watched, but I got to keep up with my ratchet reality TV. I don't care that Real Housewives, that franchise literally is going down in flames.
Oh my gosh, you know Portia got her own show coming.
I heard that.
Oh child, that trailer.
Cause she quit.
Yeah, her and Cynthia are not coming back.
I don't know how I feel about that because the people that they got coming back, they bringing Sheree back. I'm like, for why?
Because she needs money.
Yes, but what they got to do with us? Like, sis, go do something else.
But she was always an instigator. She always had a bone, so it keeps the drama going.
What's her name was well, I guess Cynthia was kind of instigating,
and Cynthia was an instigator.
So now that's okay. It's a trade off. So she's gone. I wonder why she left. She said, "Y'all ain't about to f up my relationship."
Well,
all right, maybe because she
have you heard? No,
they ain't together.
They are together. Anyways, I ain't gonna talk about people married.
All right. Okay. Well, I see. You see, I gotta keep up with TV.
Turn to tea time.
I'm just saying. Oh, it's coming. Wait till Married at First Sight. We got to talk about Married at First Sight at some point. But I have to keep up with the tea. Like that, I don't get.
Is Juice other? I think so.
No.
Oh, she's not.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't see.
They took a lot of people off. I think Drew is coming back. It's Drew. Heck, I just looked it up. I looked it up because I was like, why is what's the name leaving? Anyway, but yeah, so it's Candy.
So she got her own show, and baby, Dennis on there, and Simon.
I don't even see how she ended up with this man.
Me either.
He's not attractive.
But I mean, is
he got
Dennis
money.
attractive?
He wasn't either, but he got money, so she attracts some money. Got it. Anyway, all right, y'all.
And they're going on a big vacation with both of the men there. Her whole family going on vacation. I don't know, but
do they get along?
I think there's some level of respect there. I don't really know. I'm waiting for the trailer because I'm like the mama said.
When this supposed to come out alongside Real Housewives of Atlanta?
It comes out in November, the end of the month, when her book come out.
She marketing, honey. Portia said,
"You better buy this hair, these pillowcases,
all the things." Okay,
watch this show. Read my book.
Oh, I'm not mad at her.
I'm not either, girl. Like, make your money.
She could have done a little bit better, but I think she primarily got what she wanted out of life, which was a child. That was her thing for the duration of her being on Real Housewives.
She has grown though. We have really watched Portia grow.
She's not as ignorant.
Because baby, when she first got on this show, I said, "Ma'am,"
I said, "Who granddaughter are you?"
Obviously, y'all just was
because Hosea Williams. This ain't it.
Ain't.
I love you, Portia. And you was low key for a moment, like we was real cool in my head, but we had some questionable moments. I like her too.
She's funny.
Anyway, this is why I can't live without TV because I really thrive off of reality TV. And I think it's because my job requires so much brain
thinking. Yeah, that's what I do all the time.
I watch mindless TV literally because I'm using my brain all day. But don't judge me. Unless you want to be judged. Judge less you be judged.
I watch all the Housewives because Salt Lake come back too, y'all. If you don't watch Salt Lake,
if you first of all, get with the white people.
If you don't watch Salt Lake, you missing out. Salt Lake is good and it's about to be even better because it's gonna bring up old girl who got arrested for scamming the old people.
Oh Lord. They have money too.
Oh, they do. And you'll learn a lot about the Mormon church. You will. I didn't know much about the Mormons, but I know a lot now. I'll be sending Brittany videos.
I have yet to become thoroughly interested enough. I think for me also, it takes a lot for me to start a new series.
Okay, but it's only had one season so far, so it's not like
really that was the first season. That last season,
it's only the first one, so it's not like Beverly Hills or Orange County where you got to go like 10 years.
Yeah, I'm not.
They've changed so many people though. Even though people said they like what's her name, Fancy.
They like her on there.
What's her real name?
Garcelle,
yes. Oh, they said she'd be reading the people.
I believe it. I might catch it.
I don't know, but she's on there a couple
when I go on maternity leave, I will strive to add more television to my repertoire.
You should watch All American while you're young.
That's been in my stuff to watch on Netflix for a minute. So yeah, we're gonna get there. But these are the reasons. I love music.
I do.
But I know reality is I don't listen to it enough to say I can't live without music. Mm-hmm. I watch TV and movies when I'm off, when I'm at home, or they watch me when I'm falling asleep. I don't like listening to music to go to sleep. I watch TV until I fall asleep. So that's
just like Brittany been telling me to catch up since Marriage Site has this season has wrapped up. Brittany's been telling me to watch it, y'all. You know what I've been doing? Listening to Summer Walker album, telling the people.
Oh, that did come out.
Yeah, Summer Walker album come out. It's good. I was telling my sister because everybody was waiting. I was mainly waiting because Sierra's prayers on there, right?
Okay.
And I need to see what sis prayer.
Oh, this her prayer for how she got Russell. I can't stand y'all.
And sister said the prayer that I said 1,000 times. So I'm just gonna let y'all know. It's a good prayer. God will really refine you when you say it. But get ready. Just because you say it don't mean your husband coming like as quick as Sierra got Russell.
Listen.
Because I said this prayer like 2 years ago.
For her, you know.
It might not have been. We just going off of what we saw.
Yeah.
But I've been single for 2 full years after I said that prayer. I told God to keep me. The next man I deal with be my husband. So still waiting. Okay. Sierra done had 3 kids.
Listen, she had dang. Dang, they popping these babies.
She was popping them babies out. I was like,
listen, she was married for less years than me.
And at one point, I thought it was talking about the same baby. I said, then she just had that baby. I was like, no, it's a new one.
She definitely was. I just found out she was pregnant. She done had the 3rd one already.
No, I think she's pregnant. But she just had the first one, the second one, like earlier this year, the end of last year.
My goodness, no judgment, honey. You know, be fruitful and multiply. Just sprinkle some of that dust over here because I need to have all 3 of my children before I turn 40. Thank you, Jesus.
I know. Yes. 40.
Don't say it's around the corner.
I'm not saying it's around the corner. Time. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying my shot will be close before that.
I will, before 35 will be pleasant, but I'm about to be 32, which means I'll be pregnant every year till I'm 35. No.
Yeah, that would be not ideal either. Like, dang, you pregnant again?
Listen, me and Chris have already talked about this though. Like literally, by the time we are good to go to start trying again, it will be around the same time that we conceive CJ. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to go through April through January again, pregnant, like next year with not even a toddler, an infant.
A newborn.
I
commend the women who have 2 under 2. I just literally do not understand how you deal with the fatigue and taking care of a human.
Yeah.
I commend you because
I think those women stay at home. And not to say that makes it easier, but
still commend you because, baby, it's nothing like pregnancy fatigue.
Listen,
you be so tired, like you literally can do.
I might be. I've said I might be okay with it if it happens, because we wouldn't be preventing it. So I mean, we don't pray for this open womb.
You be real fertile after.
Yes.
Anyway, that's just how our body works. It's like, I already know what to do. Mm-hmm. But oh God, I couldn't even, y'all. The fatigue.
The podcast y'all gonna see me on the podcast pregnant with CJ breastfeeding.
I know everybody was like, oh, breastfeeding is a birth control. Don't listen to them. It is not birth control for everybody.
I ain't never heard that.
Yeah, breastfeeding is supposed to be a birth control. For some people that's why they breastfeed for so long, for like 18 months, 24 months, because they're trying to, they don't use protection, and they would rather just use that as a natural. But it's not the case for every human. Okay.
Good to know. So in other words, be careful out here in these streets. Yes. Okay. Anyway, what we talking about today, sis? Because reality TV wasn't actually it. Sorry.
Right, y'all. We just went a whole little tangent. We're talking about all the things that's happening in reality TV. But what we're gonna talk about is, we're talking about babies. We're gonna talk about like the relationships that we have with our parents now that we're adults, because there's a dynamic change when it goes from you being a child and having a parent.
Very true.
To those beginning adult years for you, those young adult years, and how your parents still kind of treat you like a child because they feel like you can't take care of yourself properly.
Yeah.
And so those times when you become like an adult like we are now, and like having that relationship with your parents that can sometimes feel like your parents are the child and you're the adult. And then sometimes feel like I want to remind you, Mom, that yes, I am your child, but I am not a child. So there's gonna be some respect here. There's gonna be mutual. So I'm never gonna disrespect my mom, but also you're not gonna treat me like I'm 15 again.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman. So that's what we talk about.
Whew. Well, where do we start with that? I mean, as a child, I was very sheltered, very strict Christian household. I feel like I had this conversation with my husband a few weeks ago where we talked about literally how even now as an adult, though I sometimes feel like I can talk to my mom about things, I don't, because I did not have that growing up. There was not a space that I felt was safe enough to come to my mom and talk to her about anything. So when I'm thinking about navigating my relationship, and I specifically talk about my mom because I have not had a consistent father figure. I won't say I didn't have it. Complicated things have occurred to where I have had 3 fathers in my life, and have lost 2, whether due to death or divorce. Currently, the stepfather that I have has been here since, I would say, as early as my marriage. So 6 years, 7 years, not that long. So my relationship, when I think about parenting, is with my mother. Yeah. And we talk way more than we did when I was a child. I feel like we have more of a friendship, and she will even say that, because like growing up, it was like, I'm your mama. I'm not your friend. Yeah. Mamas, I ain't one of your little friends out here. Right. But now like there is a friendship there where, we can talk to each other and have conversations, but I still feel like there's like this little barrier of, I'm not gonna go to my mom about that. Number one, because I probably already know what she's gonna say. Yeah. And I don't want to hear it. Pretty much. Number two, there are certain things that I just don't really want her to know. Okay. If that makes sense. Like, let's say I'm struggling with something in my marriage. I don't know if I want her to know what that struggle, depending on the struggle, I don't know if I want her to know what that is. Yeah. Because, there have been things that have happened since being married that my husband has felt comfortable enough to go and share with my parents, because they're also our pastors. So there's a dynamic there. Right. And I've been like, no, we're not telling them this thing. Those are my parents. And he's like, well, they're our covering. And, I'm like, help us. It's a balance. Yeah. So I don't know. There's been a significant change. And I think even more so now that they have the grandkids, because my sister has 2. We got CJ on the way. And then they also have their bonus baby grandkids in the picture as well. So their focus is on like the grandkids, not on the children who are now the parents. Right. So there's not a lot of like parenting happening. There's a lot of collaboration, support, things like that I feel like are absolutely different from what we had growing up when we were maybe wanting to do stuff, have our own thing going on or whatever. I mean, same, like when I think of parenting, I think of my mom, because my dad passed away. And after my dad passed away, I was 17. So I made a conscious decision at that point not to. It's a lot of male figures in my life. Like my parents had a lot of couple friends who I see like as uncles. Right. But I never allowed anyone really, even though multiple have offered, I never really allowed, because at that point I just felt like, forget, I'm almost an adult, to really step in to like replace my dad. Same. And it's like something I had to work through. Like nobody can replace my dad, but I still need that like father figure sometimes. Yeah. But I just never allowed anyone to get back to even be a father figure in my mind. Yeah. It was a choice I made because I felt like I was 17, and even though my dad had passed away, ain't nobody about to replace my daddy. And that's how I felt at the time. And then I went off to college like 6 months later. So also there's that. So I do think about just my mom when it comes to like parenting now. Growing up, my mom was pretty open with us. Like not like tell us everything. We were not friends. I would tell you that now. But my mom was cool. She was.
Everybody loved it. Like, hey, your mom's so cool. And I'd be like, is she really?
Yes.
I mean, that's what people say, because I mean, she only parent me and Amber. Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna take that back. She will parent anybody's child if they are in her vicinity. She will correct you in love, and she is always a listening ear. I will give her that. Mm-hmm. But she will correct you in love. But now as an adult, I don't know. Our relationship is similar, but it's also different. Mm-hmm. My mom is a mom who, like, she very much expects the best out of you at all times, and she does not hold that back. Mm-hmm. My mom speaks her mind at all times. She does, even though she says she holds back. So I would hate to see what her mind. What
not holding back look like?
Oh my God. My mom does not, to me, she does not hold back. She does not have a filter. She says she does, but that's yet to be determined. So some things, like Brittany was saying last week's episode, that you can be sensitive and like they come off harsh. Mm-hmm. My mom comes off harsh to me. My mom comes off very abrasive. My mom comes off very like straight. She's a straight shooter. Mm-hmm. It is what it is with her. She's not about to sugarcoat nothing for you. And for me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't take this type thing, because just who I am. I want to please my mom. I want my mom to be happy. And I would just want to make decisions that honor her and respect her. Mm-hmm. So our relationship now is friendship about some things. We talk about things, and we've learned stuff about each other that some things I didn't even want to know about my mom. And then there's other aspects where it's still a lot of correction and re-guiding, especially when it comes to parenting. My mom is very opinionated on how she thinks I should raise Kendall and my relationship with Kendall's father. And I know a lot of, when it comes to Kendall's dad, comes to the fact of her own relationship with her own biological father, and the trauma that surrounds that. Yeah. So she's very much on not really F him, but pretty much, if he don't want to do what he's supposed to do, we're gonna make him do what he's supposed to do legally. Other than that, we just gonna take care of Kendall,
which is realistic.
My mom is very much like I said, because she's so straightforward and she's so like, call it how it is. She wants to call people out. Yeah, she's very much like, I mean, it is what it is. They need to know how they are. So I think because we are different people, that's where some of our conflict now as adults come in. Okay. Because it's like, I wouldn't handle that situation that way. And I have to be telling her, I think you did a poor job of handling this situation with this person. And even if we don't agree, there's some level of respect there. Sometimes she's like, I'm still the parent. I'm like, but I'm not a child. Type thing. But I don't know how to word it. We have an interesting dynamic. Sometimes I'd be like, if I didn't have a child, I would cut back how much I see my mom. Yeah. Because
I can see that.
She can, because of our relationship and the closeness of it, sometimes it can feel overwhelming. Yeah. Because my mom is going to call everything out that she can. Not in a negative way. She's definitely doing it out of love and correction. Because like, even now, example, y'all. So my mom want to lose weight, right? And we went to Wendy's the other day. And I was like, she ordered. And I was like, girl, I asked for a 4-4, but she ordered me a salad. And then I was like, I'm trying to get a Frosty. And she would not order it. So then we went to Kroger to like do some grocery shopping. And I was in Frozen. I was looking at ice cream. And she was like, you don't need that ice cream. I thought you wanted accountability. And then like walks off. It's like, I don't want accountability right now. Today I had a bad day and I want ice cream. Yeah. And so it's like, it's appreciated. Yeah. But it's still annoying. So, as we move into like the Thanksgiving holiday, it's that time of year where people are like around your families a lot more. Like whether you go home for Thanksgiving or you don't, you might be going home for Christmas, the New Year, whatever it is, it's like that family time season. Yeah. And navigating having a relationship with your parents as an adult is a new dynamic, not only for you, but for them. Yeah. Because think about it, for most of your life, they saw you not just as their child, but as a child.
Right.
That needed correction, direction, like whatever in their mind they thought the ideal way to raise a child was. That's what they kind of like did.
Yeah.
And then like moving from like, oh shoot, okay, they're an adult now, so there has to be some level of mutual respect. Even though it should be a mutual,
like release.
Yeah, of like not being a helicopter parent or any of those things, or still feeling like they can make decisions for you.
Yeah.
Is an adjustment. And for a long time I didn't understand it was an adjustment for my mom, because I was just like, girl, don't you get I'm an adult? And to the point,
girl,
I probably did say girl.
You probably did.
She hates when I say girl to her. She's like, don't say that. But she was telling me that she was talking to her friends about navigating that, because most of her friends' kids are like around me and my sister's age. So talking to them about like, how are you navigating your child being an adult now? My mama was reading a book about it, y'all, and because she probably realized like this is harder. We don't realize how hard it is probably for our parents. It's probably harder for, it definitely is, not even probably, it's harder for our parents to let go of their child in that sense. And it has to be some type of growth on their end. Yeah. To recognize that they did raise a good human.
Yeah. I think it also, I mean, psychologically speaking, it's a life transition. Yeah. So their role is now no longer what it once was. They're probably trying to find like, okay, what do I do now? Especially when you start thinking about like, okay, maybe you're nearing, you know, you got an empty nest. Yeah. Maybe you're in a relationship, or maybe you're not in a relationship, and maybe you're wondering what that should look like for you at the age that you are now. Yeah. And then if there are grandchildren in the picture, like how do you fit into that scenario? Yeah. Whether it is being, you know, like a grandparent that attempts to show their child how to parent more effectively, or you can get a grandma like my mama who let the children do whatever. And you like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. What's that video? I can't remember. The girl on the MARTA train that went viral. I'm like, so this is the new role. Like,
yeah, they changed my kid grandkids.
That I'm telling you, but it's like a switch goes off where it's like, oh, my kid's grown now. Now they're responsible for these other children, and because the grandkids are going to get this level of strictness, or maybe like, you know, rigidness from their parents. Now as a grandparent, I'm gonna let them do whatever, spoil them, because
I'm sending them back home.
Right. I don't get that from your mom, but my mama, like, I've already been like, oh, CJ's not coming over here, because just from watching her with like my nieces Melody and Harmony, I'm like, who are you?
I mean, she does let Kendall. Last night, my mom let Kendall stay up to 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my goodness!
Like, ma'am, what happened to lights out? If I'm asleep, everybody in the house sleep.
Wow, like, that is crazy. I don't know if it's again, like there is a learning curve. Like, how do I transition from being, I guess you never stop being a parent, right?
Yeah, you never stop worrying about your kids. Right. You always gonna worry and care.
But how do I transition from being that parent that is literally responsible? Because I'm no longer really responsible for my child, because they're grown now. I taught them, I raised them, they're on their own. I can ensure that they are, you know, implementing things, doing certain things that I feel like are healthy for them, but at the same time, they make their own decision. So now what do I do as a parent? Right. And I think a lot of times, depending on how your relationship with your parents change, right, as you get older, they might cling to certain aspects of that dynamic in order to ensure they're not completely losing their place in your life. Yeah. So it might look like
gives them purpose.
It might look like your mama telling you to call her every Sunday. Hi, Mom. I have literally been responsible for calling my mother every Sunday since I moved out of, not gone to college, but since I graduated from college. So stuff that for me is like, I hate talking on the phone. Number one. Number two, every Sunday after I just seen you in church. Number three.
We're just talking about different stuff though. But I'm also a talker. I love talking on the phone.
My mom, you and my mom will, like, my mom literally just talks. Like, she will talk and I will listen. And sometimes she repeats the same thing week after week. I don't know if she realized that she'd be telling me some of the same stories.
I feel like everybody do that though.
But I don't know. I'm not a phone talker.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like that was implemented because literally me moving from Georgia to Florida at the time that I did signified literal like freedom and release.
Right.
I wasn't one of those college kids that like went back home after graduation, which I should have done. I felt like I needed to be on my own because of how I grew up. Like, y'all not about to put me under your thumb again.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
I already experienced freedom.
Right. So leaving, but for me, leaving was signified freedom, but for her, it signified potential loss or distance or what have you, especially because at the same time, I want to say there was changes happening in her marriage to my first stepfather. Yeah. So there's something that they're always trying to hold on to.
Yeah, that's true.
That can sometimes affect how we interact with them, even as adults. Because you said, like, you want to please your mom. I think we kind of grew up similarly with that. That's why we couldn't fail no classes. In high school, we had to pass everything. Not with just the B.
My mom was like, I know
it
your
had
potential.
To be A's.
I know your best.
Listen, it was the worst. But even now that I think about it, that might be also why I don't always share. There's a lot of stuff that my mom at this point in life might have to just speculate that I've done or gone through. Especially now that I'm married, because it's all in the past now, you know, we're not gonna go back there. But there's just certain stuff that like I'm not sharing with you. Yeah. Because you're my mom. And I want to make sure that you always see me in this positive light. So I think that that's kind of how I navigate our adult relationship now. Okay. Like, I mean, if I'm sharing something with you, it's because I feel like it's got to make me look good. Okay. Like, I don't know. It's really weird to explain. I'm not going to tell you how. No, I will. I'm lying. I will tell my mom, but it's after the fact. It's after we've gotten over it. I will tell her how I might struggle as a wife and some of the things I might say or do. And she'll offer correction and stuff like that. And sometimes that's hard to internalize because I have seen her go through several different relationships, not to her fault, you know, but at the same time, I have not seen her in a long-term successful relationship. Right. Even though now the one that she in is extremely exemplary, like if I'm looking at for a godly example of a relationship. But there was a time where it's just like, I can't share this with you because you don't have any experience with this. Right. And if I share it with you, you might, I don't know, judge me for what I'm doing or what I've decided to do. So as an adult, that's why I feel like I'm a little bit like, some stuff I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. Some stuff you ain't gonna get. But it is a lot more open now. It is. Yeah. So I think that might be the normal like case for things. Normally you feel more comfortable as you get older to share stuff with your parents. Maybe.
I would hope. I don't know, because I look at like the only other, obviously, I looked at my grandmother and my mom's relationship. It was totally different. My grandmother had my mom when she was 15, so they really grew up together, to be honest. My mother was probably really raised more so by, even though my grandmother like never left her with anybody, my grandmother raised her, but my grandmother obviously at 15 was still living in her parents' home. Yeah. And my mom grew up under her grandparents' rules in their home, and so her and my grandmother, they have a very open relationship. Yeah, they talk about everything. Do. My grandmother's another person who she be saying some stuff. I be like, girl, you could have kept that to yourself. Hey, Granny. I don't need to hear about no man. I don't need to hear about
I love Granny.
None of them things. Okay, you keep that to yourself. So I am very grateful I came from like a family that is open. Like my whole family is there. You will share anything. Yeah. But it also still makes for a dynamic sometimes that, do I still feel like a child? Okay. Do I revert to a level of being a child because there's no real true difference in our relationship.
I got you.
Like, as we've transitioned, other than me telling my mom, like, sometimes you gotta let go. Which I know she has worked on. She has made strides from like college to now. And I know I've made decisions that obviously I couldn't hide from her, like being pregnant.
Yeah.
That also add to like, okay, I want to make sure that you are making decisions that are beneficial to your future, because I know what your future holds. I know what your future could be like if you really like give life your best and don't allow this thing to become just the beginning of a downward spiral, because that could have happened. I could have easily just been like, well, I'm pregnant. I'm just about to do the bare minimum in life or whatever, not grind hard, not try.
And that push is probably exactly what you needed.
Yeah, like that definitely is, to me, is the story. It's off topic, but like definitely the example in my life right now that I have of God taking the ashes of my life and turning it to beauty and realigning me and letting me know that no matter the decisions that I make, if I really give my life to Christ, he can realign everything to still get me to the place he wants me to be.
Absolutely.
Because obviously getting pregnant my last year of college was not in my plans. Yeah. And all my mom cared about was I still graduating at that point. Yeah. She was like, are you still walking across stage in May? Cool, because we already told everybody you were. It's now March. So
the invitations have been printed, sealed, and sent. Okay.
She was like, you still graduating in May? Cool. We will be there. But I know for everyone that's not the case. Yeah. I know the pressure, like when I go visit, I think about sometimes around this time, we're around not just our parents, but our entire family. Yeah. And the pressures that some people might get from family members about relationship status, children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Work, career advancement. What does that look like to you, depending on what's important to your family? Luckily, I'm very blessed, I can say this, to be in a family who does not hound me about where's your man. They could really care less, as long as I bring Kendall. What I even have going on in life, to be honest, not like that, not seriously, but they really care about Kendall. But I know that's not everybody's story, and navigating that can be really hard, because this is around the time of year where you do start seeing an increase in proposals and increase in people having baby and posting announcements. Because let me tell you, someone's in the water in 2021. That so many people are having babies. Like it's so much so that it's a trend on TikTok.
Is it?
That one, I think I showed it to you, was like what was the trend? It was like everybody's like, I guess it's our time. And they were showing like how is it a trend that everybody's making pregnancy announcements? I know it has a lot to do like with the age we're at. So obviously this is about the age when people, are having settling, having families and things like that. But let me tell you, something's in the water in 2021.
It was called quarantine. What are we doing other than at home touching?
Right. So I know that's not everybody's, situation, like I said.
Absolutely.
And you have to navigate that. I think it's just important to, one, if you know that's your family, mentally prepare yourself as best as you can. Have your answers or just like, I don't want to discuss that.
I was about to say, set boundaries, because I don't think there's anything wrong with setting boundaries. Like, even whether it's the extended family or parents, like there are certain things that I am not willing to discuss, or that I prefer you not ask me about, because maybe it triggers me, maybe it's just aggravating, maybe it's just invasive, whatever. But I think that, we talked about boundaries a few episodes ago, and I just feel like that friends, family, countrymen, everybody can get the boundaries set. Okay.
Yeah. Because that's something I had to tell, not my mom per se, but like my sister. Even my sister and her fiance child, they be like, are you dating? Are you dating? Are you dating? I had to tell them, stop asking me that unless you about to hook me up with somebody. Because if I'm dating someone serious enough, y'all will know. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna tell you everybody I talk to. That's just pointless, because some of these men ain't even worth me saving in my phone. So I'm definitely about to tell my sister and brother-in-law about you. So I think isn't like Brittany said, important to set boundaries, mentally prepare yourself for those conversations, know what you are willing to discuss, what you're not, whether it's dating, babies, career, school, all those things. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, this is one, I really just want to enjoy my family, or things like that. Or, I mean, I think that's the best thing to do. If you have to be around your family, just mentally prepare yourself, know that you're going to set boundaries and how you're going to set those boundaries and stick to them. Yeah. Don't let somebody drag you into a conversation you don't want to have. It's okay to excuse yourself, girl, you grown.
Yeah. I think the opposite of that is identifying where, especially with your parents, where they add value to your life, right? Yeah. So when I think about my upbringing, being very strict and being very faith-based, I ran from that as an adolescent, as a young adult. Now, as an adult woman with a family who wants and desires so much out of life, I have no choice but to go back to the same stuff that I used to run from. Yeah. And there is literally nobody better in my life to talk to about my faith and, you know, how to grow my faith and how to walk in my calling and my purpose than my mother. Yeah. So when I think about all the things I don't talk to her about, God is definitely not one of those things. Like, that's always on the menu. That's always on the table, because that's something of value that I know I can retrieve from her because of the things that she's gone through. Jeez, excuse me. And because of like just her background and her upbringing, and you know, even though her life did not at all mirror mine as far as the choices that were made, as we both grew up, you know, into our own selves, I can definitely take what she says and apply it to almost any aspect of my life. So while setting boundaries and, you know, making intentional, being intentional about not talking about certain things, there's also some stuff where it's like, mama's gonna be the first person that I'm going to go talk to about this. Yeah. Because anybody else is not gonna give me what I know she's gonna give. And I know exactly what I would need. Because most times we know the answers to half the stuff we be struggling with. Yeah. And we know who to go to about it. Yeah. To confirm or to, you know, make us feel better or give us more clarity or what have you. Yeah. And definitely understanding like what those things are with your parents, I think can make the relationship even better, you know, especially if it's a relationship where you've already kind of set boundaries and set yourself apart and being like, I'm not going to talk about this, I don't want to talk to you about that. Well, what can you talk to them about? Right. You know, what are you willing to be open about with them? Because at the same time, they're still your parent, they're still your family. And half the time we need them more now than we might have needed them when we talk about emotional, mental support as an adult. We need them a lot more now, just to ensure that we're not, you know, going crazy on a regular basis.
And that's true. And I think it's also important to reevaluate the things you can talk to your parents about. True. Because it's different than what you can talk to them about in high school or even as a young adult than what I can talk to my mom about now. Because the more I talk to my mom about different stuff and the more she opens up, because she feels like we're in the space where she can share more about her life decisions and what was her thought process behind this and why did this happen. It's like helps me actually humanize her in a sense, that because sometimes it's just how we are raised. I think it's just human nature to put our parents like in the place like slightly above us, because I mean they're your parents. Yeah. But it like definitely brings my mom to a place of who I can humanize her and see her as a woman who was once my age, who has gone through things, who has grown into the person she is. And it also helped me go back to reflect on decisions that were made when I was a teenager. Because I didn't agree with everything my mom made me do. My mom let me do stuff, but she still had her like boundaries and her goals. Why she said that? Because especially as a parent, like I might not have liked it at that time, and there's decisions that I make now that I know Kendall does not like. But I know I'm doing it for her safety, even if she doesn't understand. I'm doing it for her protection. I'm doing it for her growth. Even though she doesn't understand at this point, and she's definitely not going to understand it when she becomes a teenager and more requests are asked. I already know, like, as much as I said as a child, I'm not going to be like my mom. More and more, definitely. I be like mom. I was sitting on the couch earlier today, And I saw a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I said, "Oh my God, if I am not my mother." I said, I look like her sitting on this couch with this blanket and this hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And just stuff I was saying to Kendall, like I'm more and more like my mom. Yeah. But it is finding those commonalities, because I think it's important if your parents are here to have conversations about different things. One, just to learn more about their history, because this is like, if we go back way back, this is how history is passed down. Oral.
Very true.
Like I think it's important. That's very important to me. That, and plus I also think we're coming to a place where, because of technology, we can be mutually beneficial to our parents. Let me tell you, mama comments so much asking me about Zoom.
Same.
Zoom. I'd be like, girl, they ain't give y'all no class at work.
How you set the live stream up for the church?
Oh my God.
That was a whole trip to Atlanta and a almost like a coaching session for my parents. I was like, I need to be charging y'all my hourly rates.
Let me tell you.
But I could definitely see like that is absolutely beneficial to be able to provide that level of support for them in this day and age.
Yeah, it's certain things, like even I think about my grandmother's sisters. One of my grandmother's sisters, her and her husband have iPhones. Okay, when the last time I went to St. Louis, I had to pair their iPhones to their car. Yeah, I was like, they got a brand new Mercedes. Okay. Like, first of all, you don't need this car because you don't even know how to scroll through the menu.
Use all the different little trinkets.
Because you got the little dial thing in the center.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to use half this stuff. Just give me the car.
My mama got a new car, brand new car, and don't know how to connect the phone to the car, or to get the phone to download her contacts, so she don't have to be down here while she's driving.
That's what I had to do for them.
Listen, y'all need to set this kind of stuff up before y'all leave the dealership.
Let me tell you. Tell AT&T man to help you out when you left the store with that new phone. And then she called me today because she was trying to send 2 pictures and a message to somebody who had an Android, so it kept failing. And she was like, I don't know what's wrong with my phone. I was like, girl, you got to send it one by one.
One by one, or turn the phone off and then turn it back on. Hopefully, we don't function with Androids.
Yes, she was having the hardest time.
That is so funny.
So I definitely think like we're hitting a place where things can become mutually beneficial. Yeah. And so it's like, what skill do you have, or what joy can you bring your parents to? If you funny, who don't love to laugh?
Listen, I'll be introducing my mom to new shows.
Yeah.
Because she stay watching like the old black, and listen, ain't nothing wrong with the old black and white. She stayed with Andy Griffith. She stayed with Heart to Heart, old detective show. And they're all really cool and stuff. I'm like, Mom, watch Family Reunion on Netflix, because there's a lot of stuff she won't watch. She's not gonna watch something with a lot of cussing or a lot of sexual stuff in it. She doesn't like that. But when I find like a pretty wholesome like family show, like a Family Reunion or something like that, I'm like, Mom, please watch this show.
That's what my mom will do. My mom and my sister, they will binge watch a show, honey. They all the Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago 911, all of them, All American. If we will find anything on Netflix, my mom will probably binge watch it if it has multiple seasons. So like, find those commonalities. It really will probably help your relationship go. And again, it goes back to like humanizing your parents. So you can extend them grace. I learned that in therapy. So like recently in therapy, I learned that I have to extend my mother grace because she is also human and she has lived a life just like me. Yeah. And she's gone through things and she had to grow. So nobody's perfect. Like we talked about that before. No human's perfect, including your parents. Yeah. And even though for most people, because everybody has different experience growing up, some people have had open parents their whole life. Yeah. My mom very much made decisions and did not explain the thing to me majority of the time because she said she didn't have to, and I just took it.
Because I said so.
Because I'm the parent.
Cool.
And even though that sucked as a child, like sitting down with her now and kind of understanding or seeing things now that I'm a parent has helped me to extend her grace, because we're all learning, because I'm definitely winging it as a mother. And so I'm pretty sure she was winging it as well. Because me and my sister grew up totally different than how she grew up. Yeah. Like she grew up with most people in the household, because not only was my grandmother's still in the house. My grandmother's siblings, younger siblings in the house. My grandmother's youngest sister is only 8 years older than my mom.
Okay.
So obviously they grew up, they're only 8 years apart.
Yeah.
They definitely were in the house at the same time. Some of my grandmother's other siblings were in the house at the time. And then my grandmother's oldest sister has 2 kids that are actually the same age as my mom.
Okay.
And so they were over there a lot, even though were in a 2-parent household, both of their parents worked. So after school, all that, they all grew up in the same house. So my mom grew up around a lot of people, a lot of hands. Yeah. While we didn't. It was just my 2 parents, because my whole family was in St. Louis and we lived in Atlanta. Yeah. So a lot fell on my mom. And now I kind of understand like why she made some of the decisions she did and things like that. Like I said, so extending grace to your parents and trying to understand their perspective, even now as adults, and some things they do you might not agree with, if you feel like they're still trying to parent you as an adult and treat you kind of like a child. There's ways to have conversations to address it. I had to have that with my mom. Like, when you do this, this, and this, it makes me feel this way, which also causes me to react in this way. Right. So I want you to understand, because this is why I'm reacting this way. Yeah. And what can we do to get past this? Yeah. Because I want to have a healthy relationship with you as an adult. I think that's important. And it's not always just, parent up your child.
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand that. I think that's something I'm still trying to get to and through. There's a lot of stuff that I'll share with Chris. And he'll be like, did you tell your mom? And I'm like, I can't tell her this, because she, sometimes it doesn't seem like she's always open to feedback. Right. But I am getting to a point now where I do share, especially when it comes to like the church, because establishing a church as a family unit can be very trying, especially when you're in different generations. Yeah, church planning is hard in general. It's very difficult. And then there's certain things that I feel like, that I have knowledge and I'm privy to when it comes to like why people choose to come to church nowadays versus why they might leave a church, etc. Yeah. And I'll try to share that with both my parents. And sometimes that's difficult because they have their ways of doing things because of this, this is how it's always been done, or maybe it's out of eagerness to get more bodies into the church and things of that nature. And I'm just like, some stuff you have to let happen organically. Right. And being able to share that with them has been something that I've grown in. But also like just sharing other stuff, like there's thought processes. Like when you think about generational disparities, some of our parents think drastically different than we think now. Yeah. They do. Especially when it comes to things like politics and government, access or government support, or like political things like, a Black Lives Matter movement, or, Me Too movement, or whatever, anything. Yeah. A lot of progressive things that are happening now. There could be a difference in how we stand on those issues, especially for a family like mine that's rooted in church, because everything goes back to the church versus going back to like people, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's something that we've had to navigate as well, because I'm not voting for somebody just because they say they believe in Jesus Christ. Sorry. Yeah. Because how are you showing that on a day-to-day basis? Right. Because if you don't care nothing about people, then you can't be like Christ. Sorry. Yeah. And not sorry. But yeah, so like those are like the dynamics of conversations that can be tough to have, but you have them anyway, because they're necessary. Because especially when your job is to engage with a variety of people. But yeah, so I get that. I get that.
That's good, because like me and my mom, my mom works for the police department, and we don't always necessarily agree when it comes to things that have happened with the police in public. And I know it's because she sees it from a very much more personal standpoint. These are people that she works with every day. These are like family to her. So I can imagine. But I'm like, girl, I
love it.
I love, even though it gets on my mom's nerves, she'd be like, I'm so happy that this criminal justice degree be paying off for something. But we discuss things like that a lot. We discuss the news a lot and things that happen in the news. And even though we don't always necessarily agree, it always starts a good conversation.
Absolutely.
And so even if you and your parents don't agree directly on something, if you feel comfortable and your parents are open enough to just still have a conversation about something, you never know what you're going to learn, like just in general. And I think it also helps your parents see you in a different light too. Like, wow, look at my child, this independent thinking,
because it's indicative of their parenting.
It makes them feel good, even if y'all don't agree. They might be like, oh my gosh, like she stood her ground, she had points, she did all these things, like yes,
and did
like yes, that's my child. So I think it goes back to conversation, finding points where you guys can come together and communicate, which we talk about a lot on this channel. Communication. And seeing how you guys can just treat each other, not necessarily
mutual respect.
Mutual respect.
Having a mutual respect for one another, regardless of the past history or the, anything that might be currently happening. I just feel like you only get one set of parents, and that may not be true for every single individual, but there is someone in your life who has mentored or parented you to this stage. And if they're still with you, cherish that. Because the one thing about my little Sunday phone calls is, God forbid, should they ever stop, I'm probably going to feel some type of way. Because the loss of a parent is something that I don't think is really equal to the law. I won't say to the loss of anybody else, but it's a very traumatic experience. I don't care what age it happens at. It's something that you like never get over. Maybe equitable to the loss of a child. As well, but it's tough. Never get over it ever. It severely impacts the way you move in life for the rest of your life. And always make an effort, because even I don't, like I said, we don't know everyone's situation, but even if you might have a situation where it's like your parents don't want to deal with you for whatever reason, right,
one, they're still human. Extend them grace, but always make an effort on your end, so if anything ever happen, you can always say, you made an effort, and you will feel good knowing that you tried and you did all that you could do.
That part.
Because that's what's important. At the end of the day, how do you feel about your part in any relationship? So don't live life with any regrets with that, and just, parents don't last forever, unfortunately. So life love on them. Right. So love on them while you can, in the best way that you can. And I'm sure if you have a rocky relationship, that I pray that it gets better.
Love from a distance. But that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. So, well, we appreciate y'all joining us today for this episode of the Sisterhood Debrief.
Yes, where we discuss all things
sisterly,
godly,
and ratchet. My ratchet couldn't be too hype after that. Like, mellow conversation.
Had a nice mellow conversation. But we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Bye.